Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Convention with Weekly Comic Roundup. We're getting an early start of the week, mainly because of my work schedule. But got a decently sized haul. Nothing huge. Not as big as say last week's or last month, thankfully. So let's kick things off with Cable #1. So where we last saw Cable, him and Bishop had foiled the Children of the Vault's plans, post Hellfire Gala plans. That said, Cable was raised in the future and has spent all of his life fighting. So yeah. So the issue opens in New York. With Cable making his way to Randall's Island, where the Henry Gyrick Internment Center is. The ship that he's used is currently anchored in the East River, north of the Re-Education, not Internment, Re-Education Center. Cable has, it is promptly detected by a Stark Sentinel and basically cuts a big enough hole from the crawl inside of it and basically destroys the Sentinel from the inside. But he points out that's only going to work once, and he's there at the Gyrick Re-Education Center in the hopes of rescuing his younger self, who has apparently been captured by Orcus. However, he's not. Not Nathan, isn't at the Re-Education Center. He's on a container ship elsewhere. So, but his TO virus is being studied by Orcus. So his cybernetic arm has been removed. But Cable frees his younger self, and his onboard AI basically gets a major data dump. And, well, Nate's cleared, but Nathan points out there's actually a bigger threat than Orcus. A tag that was found by noted by Orcus and was in the data dump that Cable's onboard AI got. The Neocracy is coming. So Cable gets some information as to the tag. Talks with a reporter whose life he saved by doing some time traveling. She puts him in touch with a detective working in the Vandals task force in the NYPD's Queens precinct. And she states that on weeknights, this particular tagger is working the bridges. So, Cable's go meet with him. He explains he was hired to do the job, but so the next day, the Cable Mobile gets a new skin as a cab, and Cable picks up the executive. It's explained it was supposed to be a long-term rollout, starting in larger cities and then spreading outwards. That's pretty much all she knows. But Cable tells his younger self about the time he's encountered the Neocracy on in other timelines. and basically the Neocracy basically just got rid of all of the everything that made beings different. No more humans, mutants, inhumans, aliens, just Neocracy. So the Cables go and check out Parvenu Industries, which is where which is who created the Neocracy. Run into a couple of goo constructs. It seems that Parvati's got mutant DNA that they've been using, namely that of Slack, Glob, Herman, and Random. They've been experimenting on cellular transformation. From what Cable can see, pretty successfully. You stop the constructs and make it into via a cryogenics lab, and then make it into the primary lab, where the head of the lab, the head researcher, states that everything that they're using they got quite legally. There's nothing worth stealing there, unless they plan on robbing Parvati of its potential. Of course, the scientist in question turns out to be the Grey Gargoyle, and that is where the issue ends. Alright, nice start. Be curious to see where this goes. That always does seem to be a big point with Cable stories. You can pretty much just throw in anything and say, yes, this happened in a potential future. Moving on, though, to our next book, we've got Invincible Iron Man, number 14. Where we left off, a McLuhan dragon had come upon Ironheart and Forge in space while they were preparing for the counter assaults against Orcus. So the issue opens, though, with Tony having a nightmare. Fighting Magneto, and Magneto basically turning his bleeding edge armor into a spear and running him through with it. His nightmare ends up even waking Emma. But Emma does kind of point out that she knows multiple ways to make someone forget their troubles, not just telepathy. And Tony points out that once this is all over, the two of them should probably discuss, or should probably figure them out. And Emma points out that she's seen Tony's plans. The only future planning that he needs to worry about is storing an urn. Back in space, the Forge and Ironheart are fairly certain the McLuhans. They're out of, basically to pick a fight, but no, it's a warning. Like, hey, look, the rings are dangerous. They're literally souls of McLuhan dragons embedded into the rings, and very much gives a kind of a thing about the One Ring. Like you could, like how both Galadriel and Gandalf stated in Lord of the Rings that when they're offered the ring, that basically they'd use it for good. They would try to use it with the best intentions, but it would be corrupted. But whatever. But somehow the ring would still corrupt. So, but Robert kind of says, I've got this figured out. They go to Nidavellir, though. The dwarves explain that the forges have taken some damage and haven't burned in a while. Carnage did kind of mess the place up pretty good. So, Forge and Ironheart get to work on reuniting the Forge and building the necessary ships, but the the dwarf they initially spoke to double crosses them. Turns out that, this really shouldn't be a surprise, but Forge's cybernetic leg has has an automatic defense system. Taught it all the best combat on Earth, and it basically has a mind of its own. But the dwarves come after Ironheart, and she uses one of the rings and send them to the void. But Forge talks her down and figures that she said that she would study the rings to understand them, which she did, and she meant every word. You know, she can feel herself getting comfortable with them. She's not scared anymore, and that scares her. Also, she doesn't know about the Neverending Story. But Forge has an idea about what to do with the rings, and basically she sends them out into space. The idea being that they go to varying directions, so they're not all tons of markers to land on one planet to be found by some jackass. But she kind of points out she didn't learn anything. But Forge, says not even about yourself. But so she interested. Yeah, she did actually. So the ships touch down on Mars, and Orcus discusses their plan. Apparently, with information that they've fed to the Firestar. But the beachhead for mutants' return to Earth is supposed to be the Australian outback. By the reckoning, location has been chosen to minimize collateral damage. And Fei Long states that when the ships arrive on Earth, every sentinel on the planet will be waiting for them. He adds that if he doesn't join them as an official mascot, he'll make Iron Man watch as Rhodey dies, then trap Stark inside an armor he can't command. Well, with full life support, see how long he lasts. But another one of the Orcus how do I put this? Modified Wolverine skeletons is then sent to kill Iron Man. And that is where the issue ends. Alright, solid issue. I like the idea that it seems that maybe Tony and Emma are actually going to, their marriage will be more of an actual marriage rather than just for show. We'll see where that goes. Moving on though to our next book, we've got X-Men number 30. So a while back during Dugan's initial first during the first year of this run. So between Hellfire Galas, the High Evolutionary came to Earth and basically said, "Hey," and ended up offering mutants basically a bioweapon that would sterilize humanity. The X-Men turned it down, and High Evolutionary left, provided that he was granted a sample of Sync's blood. So we open with Scott dreams often of Jean. And he's convinced that she's not dead. She's not dead. But he's being evaluated to see if he's fit for court. The doctor says that he tells Dr. Stasis that he's not going to offer up a defense. But she also doesn't believe he's fit for court. That he's fit to stand trial. Stasis, however, points out that tells the doctor she won't dare put that in her report, as the little black sheep mutant and her family will let themselves on a surprise camping trip that will last the rest of its short, pitiful life. But she does say that she thinks that Cyclops thinks he's exactly where he wants to be right now. And so, there's a brief flashback of sorts to the history between Synch and Talon. Hundreds of years in the vault. More like, 6 months. 6 months real time outside the vault. But helping them, they're trying to figure out a way to disable a kill switch in the Krakoan drugs. And they've gotten some help from Spider-Man and the Gold Goblin. But they think that perhaps they can figure out a way to use the High Evolutionary's bomb to their advantage. And so, Iron Man learns that Firestar was directly threatened by Orcus, and basically says that basically when his landing force is touching down in the Australian outback, she needs to leave Orcus and never go back. And he states that there's a solution for the kill switch. There's on Synch and Talon, who arrive on Counter-Earth, make their way to the High Evolutionary. High Evolutionary's daughter, Luminous, makes the first attack on the couple, but Synch uses Karma's powers to basically cause her to relive some of her worst memories, mainly being experimented upon by her father. And so, the High Evolutionary says that, yeah, Synch and Talon have what they want, provided they survive him. And so, they attack him, and later we get the same scene as from Iron Man, talking about the pending mutant return in the Outback. But Tony's given the High Evolutionary's advice, and Talon asks Synch why she can't remember how they escaped Counter-Earth, and he states that she was badly hurt on the way to the shuttle. Once again, almost killed covering his escape. But Ms. Marvel asks who he's talking to, and it's been a long couple of days. Synch and Talon were defeated by High Evolutionary, with Talon having been incinerated, and apparently Synch used Jean's power to pull her mind inside of his. So he's like a cerebro. He'll hold her as long as he can, and they'll fix it. They'll find a way to do so. And that is where the issue ends. Ooh, should be interesting what the fix ends up being. Moving on, though, to our last book for the moment, we've got Guardians of the Galaxy, number 10. where we left off, Star-Lord's sister, Victoria, now currently the Queen of Spartax, is has decided to attack and destroy Groot space. Guardians ain't exactly having that. Also, Gamora and Mantis were able to retrieve Arthur Douglas's soul from the Soul Stone, which the issue begins with them returning to him, though he's having trouble getting the soul out of its container. But yeah, they kind of has to wait as the Spartoid fleet is pretty much destroying everything in its path. So, but as I said, they have a plan. Star-Lord says that the signal for everything will likely be a gunshot. But Victoria's like, yeah, she means to destroy, to absolutely just annihilate Groot space. Everyone does their parts, and Mantis and Drax smashing shit. Gamora and Nebula taking care of the going to the finding the solar engine of the Spartoid flagship. Nebula points out it'd be beautiful if it wasn't being wielded by a complete piece of shit. And they eject the solar core, and Rocket has a means of basically catching it and turning it into a giant sun. And well, basically he's built the universe's first solar injection rig and started turning it into a pocket sun. And so Victoria's like, destroy it, blow it up. But it's explained that if they do, the flagship will survive, but most of the rest of the fleet won't. And so she states that everyone on the rest of the ships will be honored as legends. So Rocket's trying to avoid being, well, detonated. And so Drax improvises. He's done running from the jazz. But, well, Star-Lord decides that his sister's the problem and he's the solution. And, basically says that he's come to finally take what's his. What Victoria's proven she doesn't deserve. He's come for the throne. And that is where the issue ends. And I'm guessing this is the last issue of this run, but it seems to be wrapped up in the Guardians Annual. But that is where the issue ends. Let's have to look through previews and see if there's a solicit for an issue next month. Anyways, that is going to do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Mastodon, Blue Sky, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off saying, live long and rock hard.